Hello everyone. We'll start within 2 to 3 minutes. Let everyone join. Achha, can everyone just write a Y or N in chat? If let me see if the chat is working or not for everyone. Just anything. Hi, hello, yes, no. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, fine. So those who are from SNU and part of the Code Save SNU chapter, they to know who Shubham is, and they who don't know, Shubham Trivedi is also my classmate and also the president of the Code Save chapter. He is doing a great work arranging all the events and all the programs for us. Okay, few more people are joining within 2 minutes, so we'll start in .75. Okay. Until then, if you have any particular issues about C++, you want to tell us about any particular topic or any particular aspects of it, C++ you want to tell us about, then please write in the chat and throughout the event, and please write everything in the chat. Whatever issues you have, if you are unable to reply to you directly back to you, we'll go through whole the chat and we'll answer to you. And once one is speaking, the other one will be active in the chat. Okay, so use chat for it. Use chat for everything. And if you have a particular doubt, then there is a raise hand button. Okay, then you can raise the hand or you can directly unmute the button. But please don't suddenly unmute the button without telling us. That would create a lot of noise. So I'm getting a lot of WhatsApp DMs about is C++. I guess you are the first year students. So yes, C++ is the core of competitive programming. Okay, if you want to have competitive programming skills in you, you have to use C++. Okay, because some people use Java, but C++, I personally use C++, and many of the great programmers, like if you know Gennady Kukuretkovich, he's the world's #1 competitive programmer. He used C++. Okay, so C++ is the like mother of all programming languages. So do learn it very carefully. So in this event, we will not be able to grasp all the concepts, but we'll tell you about the basics and a hands-on project that you can show your CV and everything. Okay. So Devaktipa, I guess we can start.
Sure, Sagnik.
Okay.
So shall I give the introduction?
Yes. Please go on.
Okay. Hi, we are Microsoft Learn Student Ambassadors, and I'm an Alpha Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, and Sagnik is a Beta Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. Today we are going to have an amazing session on Visual Studio Code using C++. So Visual Studio Code, I guess all of you are familiar with it. It's a it's an open source software developed by Microsoft that you can use to implement not only C++.
Devaktipa, if you can speak a little bit louder. The voice is a little low.
Sure. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Uh, Visual Studio
And
Code
also,
is an
sorry to interrupt. Please turn off your video because there is a problem with your bandwidth. So then your voice will be
okay.
clear.
No issues. Is it fine now?
Yes, please go on.
Visual Studio Code is an open source software that is developed by Microsoft for for coding, and not only C++, but also it supports a host of other programming languages like C, JavaScript, and CSS. The links to download via Visual Studio Code, in case you haven't downloaded it, I am giving it in the chat box. Visual Studio Code was first launched in 2015 April by Microsoft. Now, every one of us here are familiar with C++, right? C++, for those who are not familiar, I'm giving a brief introduction because in the registration form, I saw that around 50% of the people are not familiar with C++. That C++ is essentially an object-oriented programming language built with classes and objects. Now, what are classes and what are objects? Let's come from the coding world to the real world. In the real world, the if we consider cricketers as a class, then Mahendra Singh Dhoni, Virat Kohli, Shikhar Dhawan, they can be considered objects of the class cricketers. If we consider a class as cars, then Maruti Suzuki, Toyota, all of these are objects of the class cars. Object-oriented programming rests on four fundamental pillars: inheritance, abstraction, encapsulation, and polymorphism. We'll be touching them. But first, before that, let me share with you the links.
Okay, I already shared. You please go on. Whatever links are there needed, I will share
Okay,
them.
thanks, Sagnik. Thanks a
Okay.
lot.
Okay. Yes. You please share your screen and start the program.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Sure.
So first, we'll start right from the basics. Hello world. So this is
One thing, Devaktipa, I guess there is some noise or echo. Have you joined? Please check it.
Yes, I am there. Is
Yes.
there an
No,
echo still now?
okay. Okay. Now it is fixed.
Okay, thank you.
No.
Okay, so uh, like C++ also requires a main function mandatorily in its program. Without a main function, no C++ program can run, but without classes and objects, the programs can run. Like you see in this basic hello program, there is no classes and objects and still it's running. Second, we go for another program to calculate the sum of digits of a number. Okay, so we are taking an input from the user and we are calculating the sum of the digits by of the number through this logic by through a while loop and then taking the remainder of each time and then going on dividing. Now we go to inheritance. We know there are there are five types of inheritance: single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, multi-path or diamond inheritance. So we'll first start with the basic most basic form of inheritance, which is single inheritance. So here there are two classes, base and derived. So base is the class from which properties are taken and derive is the class to which gets the property, which acquires the property, which inherits the property from the class base. And this in line number 16, this is the main syntax of inheriting, and this is through private mode. Now let me tell you briefly about this what's private mode. Private mode is a mode, but before that let me tell you about the visibility modes of inheritance. When a class is inherited to another class, then the inheritance can take place in three modes, three visibility modes, as in public, private and protected. So what happens in private mode? In private mode, the private data of the base class is never inherited, be it in any mode, and the public and protected data of the base class is inherited as private data in derived class, in the class derived. So in this program, there are in the class base, there is one private member in text. Since the nothing is, I have not mentioned anything before in text, so it's private because the default access specifier in C++ is always private. Now there are two functions, get data and put data, which I'm using to enter the value of x and keep the value of x respectively. And in class derived, I'm using it to display the value. Now we go to parameter passing and multi-level inheritance. Okay, in class A, again, no default access specifier is mentioned, so it's a private data member. And then you see the A is a base class and B is inheriting from A and C is inheriting from B. So basically, it's a chain like structure, A to B and B to C. This is what multi-level inheritance is all about. The inheritance takes place in levels, it takes place in chain, in a chain sort of structure. So we pass parameters through calling the base class constructor. Inside the derived class constructor, we know to call parameterized constructors, we need to uh, call them inside the derived classes. So this is what we are doing here. Now we go to hybrid inheritance. Hybrid inheritance is an inheritance in which inheritance is a combination of multi-level inheritance and multiple inheritance as well. Multi-level, I already talked to you. It's the inheritance takes place in levels, from the base class to one derived class, and from the derived class to the second derived class. And hybrid inheritance is a combination of the both. Okay, so here the base class is student, and we are using get student function to input the student's data and put student function to print it. Now marks I'm deriving it from the class student, and we are declaring another class sports, and and this class result, it's deriving from marks and sports, and marks itself is a derived class of the class student. Okay, so I guess that's it. Thank you. uh, Now let's go for the quiz. Hope you all are excited for it. My computer is hacked. I'm sending you the code for the link, and the quiz will be on Kahoot, the platform Kahoot. I hope you all are aware of it. It's a platform to conduct quizzes. So uh, please open Kahoot. Please Google Kahoot.it, and then you'll get an option to enter the game pin. I'm giving you the game pin in a minute. The top three winners will get digital swags.
Devakripa, can you share the link, please?
Yeah, I'm sorry, but the screen is still not loading
Okay,
actually.
okay, okay.
Please give me 1 minute.
Yes.
Computer is hanged up actually. Sorry.
So guys, till then when the Kahoot thing loads, uh, so let me talk a brief about like what is object orientation. Okay, I'm getting messages. So you guys know C, right? So in C, if we have to code something, so what we do? We code that and we call that function, and the function is done. But C++ introduces four concepts, basically three concepts: encapsulation, inheritance, and polymorphism. Okay. So encapsulation means, what do you mean by a capsule? A capsule means everything is kept within it. So an encapsulation is within that program or within that line of code, everything will be in that capsule. Okay, so that is what encapsulation is. So Devakripa explained what is inheritance. So inheritance is nothing but, so let's say vehicle is a class and the lower class is a car and a truck and a bus. Okay, so this is the relationship we have. Okay, so a common class is the upper class. Okay, the parent class and the child classes are their categories. Okay, so if shape is the parent class, then the child classes are circle, a square, a triangle. Okay, so these are the child classes. So this is what inheritance is. And polymorphism, the concept is a little bit tricky. So I will tell you when I will code that project that we have already explained, that we'll go through a hands-on project. So then I will explain what polymorphism is. Okay. So Devakripa, is the Kahoot thing loaded? Or one thing we can do that Kahoot quiz in the last. So till then I can show them the hands-on project. No issue.
Sure, Sagnik, not an issue, definitely.
Okay.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So I'm going with the hands-on project, right?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Okay. 1 second. First of all, in chat, please tell me. We will be coding a student management system. Okay. So you are registered in the college. Okay. So what data does college have from you? What attributes or what data does college have from you? Your name, your father's name, your phone number. And if you have to delete that, so your whole line of array will be deleted. So today we will go through a student management system. Okay. So let me explain. 1 second. Let me share my screen. So the screen is visible, my screen?
Yes.
Yes. So everyone, do mention all your queries in the chat, okay? So then it will be a interactive session. Okay, so we are designing a student management system. So we are designing a student so a student management system. So it is 1 second. Once again, just let me set up my VSCode here. Okay, so we are talking about a student management system. So a student management system has, so its main subcategory is student, right? So a student has his name, his father's name, okay, his phone number, his date of birth, and his address, right? So now please tell me in the chat and make it an interactive session, not a one-way session. I don't like one-way sessions at all. So now please tell me that you know about functions, right? What functions I'm telling about? So let's say your father asked you to go to market and bring something. So bring product is a function. When you call that function, that you will do that. Okay. So these are functions. So what student management functions can we interpret in this? What student management functions can we use according to your experience? Whatever student management system you have seen, you are in the college, you know what kind of database a college maintains. So what things should be kept in a student management system? Anyone in the chat? So yes, great. So there is a show data. So okay, so You can send me in private, no problem in that. Okay, you don't have to write in open. Yes, 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 exactly. Show data, someone is telling. Get data, yes, 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 great. So show data or get data is clear to everyone, right? So showing data means when I call that function, all the data that is stored in the database of the college or the student management system will be showed, right? So there will be like tables, simple tables. Yes, exactly. Show data, get data, add data. So these are three main functions. Okay, and also there are some additional functions we can implement, like search a student. Okay, search a student. We can also edit a student. Sorry, typo. Edit student. Okay, so these are the main 5 functions. Okay, we will work with these functions. So now let me explain. So you guys know structure. Yes, student, faculty, admin, login, maybe obviously, but as we are doing in the C++, so we will not implement the web part because that will create a whole lot of other libraries and other animations. Okay, so we are skipping that part. We are doing everything in the terminal itself. Okay, so now, so we are having attributes. So I'm writing down the attributes. So we have name, father's name, phone number, date of birth, and address. Okay, remember these. We will implement these only in the program. And we have, so these are the attributes or the variables. Okay, so these are the variables, and there are functions. What kind of functions am I talking about? I'm talking about show data function. Okay, I'm talking about get data function. What Shubham told, add data function. Okay, search student function, and we will explain all the functions and everything. So what I'm doing is the ideation part. Okay, every project, whatever project you are doing, there are 4 parts of a project. Okay, first of all is the ideation, then it is the design, then it is the code, and then it is the test part. Okay, so in the ideation portion, you just have the idea about what we'll be going to do. Then we will have the design part. So no, this design is not what we mean by designing. So this designing means the structure of the program that you have to think beforehand what we will do. We cannot just code a program by doing it. We have to first think what we will do, then we can implement it. Okay, so if there are some third year students, this can feel little bit easy for you, but okay, we can go ahead. And idea, design, then we obviously the main portion, the coding portion, and after that the test portion. So remember these 4 steps. These 4 steps are the 4 golden steps of creating any project. Okay, you cannot skip any of the process. So if you skip the ideation portion and directly goes to designing, your structure will not be correct. So if you want to give a proper structure to your program, you have to be ready in the ideation portion. If you want to give your code a proper implementation through the code, you have to be clear about what design you thought about. If you want to test the program, you have to properly see what code you have given, right? So for the debugging portion, for editing the code and everything, you need that. So okay, so now let's jump into the coding part, right? So let's not just waste time and jump into the coding part. So first of all, we will explain a little bit about how VS Code works. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. One second. Yes. Is my screen visible? Devakripa, can you see my screen?
Not as yet.
Not yet. Okay, but should be
No,
visible by
sorry.
now. Anyone in the chat? Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes. So once you install VS Code, Visual Studio Code, you can create any blank folder or any folder, or when you right click on that, you get an option to open with code. Okay, so click that open with code portion. And once you open with code, the VS Code the VS Code interface is a beautiful interface. Okay, so it is so much easy, but one problem is VS Code is this, it has many sort of interfaces and it has many sort of tools. So you don't need to care about all the tools. You just need to care about what you will be using. Okay. So just simply this is the folder, and once we click on the event CPP, this one, the folder name, there will be option to new file. Okay, so create a new file, and in C we write new file.c, and in C++ new file.cpp. Okay, so the program or the student management system that I have chosen for your ease, so I have removed all the object orientation part. Okay, so that made the program a little bit lengthy, but if you have knowledge of C, then you will also understand it. Okay, so there is no hard and fast rule that you have to do in C++. We are doing it in C++ because C++ gives us more opportunity to improve. If I code in C, so there is no opportunity to improve the object orientation part. Okay, so let's say student management service dot cpp. Okay, so this is the so now we will code. So now, first of all, in C++, what we do is we have to include the libraries. In C++, in Python, in C, the process is same for everyone. Okay, so we have to include the library. Like when in C, we include stdio.h. In C++, we include iostream. Okay, iostream means input output stream. And we'll be obviously, as we are using the names, we are name, father's name, then all we have to use the string library. Okay, and now if you are facing any problems, then you can use the conio.h or stdlib.h. As I will be sharing this code only, so I'm including this. You don't need this libraries, right? So these are for old laptop that doesn't support the new compiling system. So you can include the library for this. So stdlib means standard library.h. So these libraries are not needed for that. And those who don't know C++, there is a concept called namespace in C++. We are not going to explain it. Just remember that using namespace std is a line you have to write. Okay, so those who have a little bit knowledge of C++, they know what using namespace is. Okay, so now comes the interesting part. So now when we're doing a management system, then we have all the functions. So what functions I told about? So there is a main function, there's show data, get data, search student. So there will be a main function, and the main function will call all the functions. Okay, show data, get data, search student. So you know a concept called function declaration. Okay, there's two things. In a function, there are two things. One is function declaration and other is function definition. Okay, so first we'll declare the function. Okay, in C++, we can declare the function beforehand, that later when we call that function, we know what that function consists of. Okay, let's jump into the, yes. So what functions we'll be using? We mentioned in the chat, int main, a function, void. So void, we are using void because through the show data get data function, we are not trying to return anything. We are trying to execute a proper task and we will trying to print them. Okay, so we will be using the void. So void means no return type will be there. Okay, so void show data. Okay, and obviously if you are showing a data, then there has to be something, some parameters that will show the data. So we are telling that parameter search by role. Okay, so we'll be searching the program by role. Okay, so now void get data. To getting the data, we have to be okay. So for getting the data, for fetching the data from the database, we have to use some sort of parameter. Okay, some sort of index. So you know in C or basically in computer, we don't use this concept 1 2 3 4 5. We don't use this. We use 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, so for that we'll be using the index. Okay, int I. So if you have learned obviously you have learned the concept about loop. In loop you use I as the iterator. I iterates from all the total length of the program that you need to do. So let's say you have to print 5 times, you have to print 1. Then for I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus, plus plus means increment, then print I. Okay, so this is the iterator concept, and here I works as the parameter. So after that, we have to use the void add data. Just like Shubham told and you guys told in the chat, show data, get data, add data. I am not adding anything by my own. Okay, whatever you have told me in the chat, I am adding that. So search by role. Now void add data is done. Void edit data. So these are 4 basic functions. And you tell me for edit data, I have to use the ID number. Okay, so let me use ID number as a variable. Okay, so if anyone is having any problem understanding any of the lines I have written, please tell me, because this is the initial declaration part. You have to understand this to help me explain the next part. Okay, in the next part we will be writing all the programs, we will be taking all the inputs. Okay, so till this everyone is clear about what I wrote and what I'm doing. Any issues, any concept of how to, like, VS Code is not working for anyone, you can do it on your own by now, or you can do it later. We will send you the recording through a YouTube video. Okay, so I'm going on. If anyone has any problem, please write in the chat. Use chat as the interface. Okay, but if you don't feel like writing in the chat, you can obviously raise the hand or unmute. I'm using a full screen, but so let's ignore. Okay, so now int total students. So why this? Because I cannot allocate a infinite number of students. Okay, I have to allocate a number of students. So I have to first tell the system, okay, this much number of students I'm talking about. So okay, so for that the int total students function is there. And now a concept called structure. Okay, so you know about in C, you know what structure is, but if you don't know, a structure is basically, so let's say you are having a table. Okay, so let me explain in the OneNote. So you are having a table. So when you are having a table, so let's say this is the table. So if someone asks you, so what is the structure? तो मैं क्या बोलूंगा, मैं बोल दूंगा अच्छा इसका स्ट्रक्चर ऐसा है कि मैं पता तो नहीं मुझे क्या है इसमें, बस मुझे ये देख रहा है मुझे कि इसमें 4 रोज है. Sorry for switching in Hindi. There are 4 rows and there are 3 columns. Okay, so this is the structure. This is the structure of this table. So let's say now now I have a student data. So let's say there a name is there, there is student ID is there is phone number is there, and there is ID is there. Okay, so now what is the structure? What is the structure of this table? What is the structure of the student system? The structure is, I can tell me, okay, so in the student structure I can see that a string name is there, int student ID is there. So this is basically the data type and the data variable name. Okay, so this is the rule that we follow while writing a structure. So let us write the structure of the program. So struct int, what we have first, we have the roll number. Okay, so I'm always following the chat. Please write in the chat if any doubt is there of or anything that I wrote above you didn't understand. Please write in the chat. Okay, so it is very difficult to understand, like whoever is understanding what and whoever is getting a bit left out. So okay, so don't be left out, please write in the chat. Okay, so string name and let's say string father's name. So let's ignore the father's name part. Okay, so let's say phone number. So you can take the phone number as integer. I am taking the phone number as simple string because I don't need to operate anything with the phone number. I have the phone number, I store it in there. Okay, and now I have the string date of birth. So let's call it DOB. Okay, so till now any doubt is there? No. And address. So let's city. Okay, so this is the structure of the program. So this is the structure of the student structure. What is structure again? Yes. So Anjan, structure is, so thank you for asking a doubt. So I'm having a student system, right? So I have the ID, I have the name, I have the father's name, I have the roll number, I have the city. Okay, But now I have to define a structure. Okay, so you can see the structure of this. Okay, you can see the structure of all the data we will be having in the student management system. Okay, so this is the structure of the data we will be storing. We will not be storing one thing, we will be storing more than one. Okay, so for that we have to define structure. Okay, so what structure does is structure basically defines the program. Okay, so whenever structure is basically a block for, yes, exactly, structure is basically a block for initializing of variables that we'll be using. Okay, so that is what structure is. Exactly, Kajal, good answer. So structure, yes. So inside the structure, now Anjan, you understand what thing we need to write? We need to write exactly the initialization of variables. What variables we will be using? Okay. Yes. So till now it is okay, I guess. Yes. Thank you. So till now it is okay, right? Yes. So now we initialize the variables. We initialize the structure. So let's name the structure. So let's name the structure student only. Okay. So I will comment it. Okay. For yours. So structure is initialization of the blocks or the variables basically. So don't say blocks, variables at once. Okay, and also you have to name the structure. Okay, so struct student. Okay, and at the end of the structure you need to add a semicolon. So nothing out of the world. Okay, I'm just writing what I'm seeing in the below struct. You need to add semicolon in the last. Okay, so we have defined the structure. We have declared what variables will be there. So now we'll be calling the structure. Okay, so now let's say we need a student record. Okay, so student record, so I'm writing in short, student record 50. So 50 means, so a student, okay, sorry, not struct, basically struct name. If I named it struct, okay, student. So student is a structure, and inside the student structure I'm declaring what? I'm declaring an array of 50. Okay, an array of size 50. So there will be a 50 number of students. So what structure helped me in this? Okay, so now we'll understand. I told you, after implementing the program you will understand why we need this. So what you understand about array? So if I am having a 5 size array, so the first will have something, the second will have something, the third will have something, fourth will have something. So let's say it have A, B, C, D, E. Okay. So now say in every bit, in every part, I'm telling you, in every part you have to write. So let's say Sagnik 2027 SNU, my phone number, blah blah blah. So now you cannot uh, keep the whole thing in the first block of a simple 2D array, or a 3D array also you can. Okay, so for that you need the structure. Okay, the structure eases the portion. Okay, so students, so what we did from that, so we included the libraries, we used the namespace, that is the general syntax, we declared the variables. Okay, we declared the total students variable, and we wrote a structure, we defined the structure, and we used the structure, a student structure. Okay, so now let's call the main function. Okay, so the main function. So now what variables we will be needing? Okay, so now I have to choose, right? The system will show me the option what you will want to do. One is create a data, two is delete a data, three is edit a data. So these things, add student, edit student. Okay, so now there have to be a choice variable for that. Okay, so int choice, and also if you can see there is two variables that I declared in the function declaration part. Okay, ID number and search by role. So they don't have their declaration yet. So we have to declare them. So int choice. Okay. So I'm writing each the comments. So basically what choice is, so this is a basic array. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, the student rec 50. So this is a basic array. Okay. Basic array of what? Not numbers, not string, of defined structure. So now int choice. Int choice is what? So it is basically to determine which operation or which function the user need to call. Okay, so this is what int choice is. Now we want int id number. Okay, so what id number is? So id number, so this variable is basically there to record the, please pardon me for the typos, uh, so which the user want to access. Okay, this is what id number is. Now we have another variable int search by role. So the program seems long, but the program, this all the management system program, all the C++ project program is a structured program. Okay, so not the structure, not this structure. Okay, general structure, what you understand. So there is part of the program in each C++ program. Okay, or in C program, if you want to program something big, we have to divide the program in different structure. So this is applicable not only for this and also for, so the Devakita, how much time I have? There is any like time thing?
No.
Okay.
It's
So
okay with me. No issues.
okay.
Absolutely no issues.
Okay. So after that you can go on YouTube session. ठीक है? Please make ready the Kahoot. Okay. So then that will be interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's ready. It's okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes. So we have that. So what structure we need to follow? This is not applicable for this project only. This is applicable. Why didn't we declare this variable instruct? Which variable? Which variable? Kajal? Kajal, you can unmute. No issues. A choice and others. Okay. So what is the structure? What is the structure doing? The structure is the structure for the student. The student don't have attributes, right? The student don't have a choice. The student have their data. So that student data will be under the student. What attribute student have? So what attribute a car have? A car have a color, a car have a tire type. Okay, so these are the car, but the car doesn't have any choice. Okay, the car have doesn't any choice. The user have choice to choose which car he wants. Okay, the student structure is a general structure, and there are 5 students, 10 students, 20 students following the same structure, and the user is having the choice. Now the choice variable comes. The user is having the choice of choosing which student you want. Okay, so this is basically the student structure. What attribute student has. And now 1 second. কথা বলো না। Sorry about that. Yes, so this is the student structure. Yes. Okay, so now we are declaring what thing the user need to run the program. Okay, so till this everyone is clear, and if it will be so much good if you follow along me. If you want me to share the code, I can share the code in the chat. Okay, till now what I wrote. Yes. So like Teams chat is so much responsive for the programs, so the colors will be different, so it will be easy for you to understand. Okay. So just simply ask in chat or tell me which part you need explanation about. Okay, I'm waiting for 2 minutes. Please go through the program I shared, or my screen is visible also. Please tell me which part you didn't understand or which part I need to explain. And if I don't get any response, I will continue with the program. Okay, so I guess no one have doubt in it. Great. So now we are going ahead. So now we have declared the variables. Okay. So now we'll be taking the input from the user. Okay. So how total number of students you want in the database. Okay. See out. So now enter the total. So just simply total number of students. And we have declared that it will be a max of 50 size. So we can use that. One second. Yes. So now we'll ask the user enter the total number of students you want. Okay. So enter the total number of students. So our max is 50. So we can write that if the user is new to our program, if someone else who don't know what program you did, then for them, they don't know. They don't have the source code. They just have the running program. Okay. So see how, so those who are not like totally like familiar with C out. So there is nothing difference between C's printf and C++ C out. Okay. So C out. So you can use the printf also in C++. There is no issues. Okay. So I can also write printf. So these things you know, right? So enter the total number of students. And for entering a new line, I enter /n, and in C++ we can also enter, so C++ blah 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 and endl, end line. Okay. So these are the basically left shift right shift operators, or two smaller than or two greater than operators. The two smaller than operators, so they are called the output operator, and two greater than operator, they are called the input operator. Okay. So we are asking enter the total number of students. Now we'll be taking the input. Okay. So C in. So what variable we call total students. Okay. So the variable name is total students. Okay. So what happened here? So this is the IntelliSense of VSCode. Okay. So once you declare a variable, you don't need to write that again. You just need to write T. And if you cannot find T or T, okay. And then you can find, okay, the total students count. So, okay. So that's why like VS Code is so optimized for programming. Okay. So now we have the total students. So now a while loop. So what I'm doing in the while loop, basically till when total students is not 0. Okay. So I have 10 students. So I want to grab 10 structures. Okay. 10 student structures. So while total students minus uh, when total students is decrementing, and till when it will decrement till it reaches 0. Okay. So now I'm doing the C out of what? So I have the structure ready. So what I will do? So what do you want to do? So press 1 for add student, press 2 for edit student, press 3 for search student, press 4 for quit program. So these are things I have. Okay. So I already wrote that. So I have to write everything. So I have ready in it. So where is the program? Yes. So I'm just simply copy and pasting it. Okay. Yes. So what happened here? I pasted it, right? And I clicked save, and it automatically got indented. Okay. So this is basically the indentation on save. So these are all features of VS Code. So I shared a link a little bit before, I guess. Yes, getting started with Visual Code. The website name is so funny, riptutorial.com, but they have the best tutorials of anything, any program related stuff. Okay, so now I am asking the user to enter your choice. So the user will enter 1, 2. Can we use another variable for this, so that if we have to use total students in any other function, then the values won't get affected. See, Kajal, you're telling it right. Okay, but in our structure of the program, what I told, the importance is the structure of the program we follow. So in our structure, so do we need to, हम लोग क्या कुछ छेड़छाड़ कर रहे हैं total student variable को लेके? वो है उसके जगह पे है, हम जस्ट उसको देख रहे हैं कि अच्छा ये जब ये 10 है, that 10 is being stored in the total students, so the total students is not being used anything, is not anywhere. Okay, so that's why we are not declaring another variable for this. But you are right, if we have to use total students in another place, so then it is not safe to declare in the local. So it is safe to be declared in the proper scope of the program. So let's say we are having a for loop, inside that for loop we need to declare that. Okay, so you are right, but in our case we don't need to use total students in any other scope. Okay, so we are declaring this in the main scope of the program. Okay, so we are asking the user to enter the choice, and so we are taking the choice, C in choice. So now in the chat, do you guys know what switch case is? Very easy. Basically, the first introduction to switch case for us computer science students is while using while programming calculator. Okay, yes. So if anyone doesn't know what switch case is, the switch case is basically, so I have some choices, right? Yes, so I have some choice, so I can switch between them. Okay, so I can switch for the choice. Okay, and what I can do, I have different cases, right? So let's say we say that ना that इस केस में हम ये कर देंगे, उस केस में हम देख लेंगे, ठीक है? तो so let's say case, so let's say we have 4 choices A, B, C, D, and there are one more choice that if no choices are taken from the program, so let's say I give you the option to write A, B, C, D, और तुम बहुत ही बदमाश हो, तुम E दे दिए, तो उसको लेके तो मुझे कुछ तो पहले से प्रिपरेशन करके रखना होगा ना. So for that purpose I need to prepare something in my program that if your input is wrong, what I should do. So for that, or if you are not accepting, yes, so for that I have a default case. Okay, so now the structure is basically case 1 colon, and there is an indentation, then you write whatever you want and you write break. So break statement means it breaks the program out of the scope. Okay, so let's say I'm writing a program. So let's say switch choice, and let's say in case 1 I am cout 1 chose. Okay, ENDL, and for case 2 cout blah 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 ENDL. Okay, ENDL means end line, nothing. What you understand by this, ENDL does the same. But I need to break. Okay, I match the case 1. I don't need to match another case. If I have inputted 1, if the choice is 1, then I just need to check the case 1. So for that, after the cout or after the program, after what we need to do in the case, we just write break to break the program out of the scope of the switch case. Okay, so now just hop into the coding part. Okay, so when also this is applicable for all the programs, so don't understand a program by all the lines. Okay, I also can't understand a program by whole the line. Okay, so read the program part by part. There will be different functions inside a function. Okay, so read the functions before, what the functions are doing, and then read the main function, how the functions are called in the program. Okay, so now I am doing the switch choice. I have 1 to add student, 2 to edit student, 3 to search student, 4 to quit program. Okay, so now let's say case 1, and the syntax is case 1 colon, and what I need to do, add student. Okay, so I already declared a function called add student. I didn't tell as of now what that function does. I will define that function later. Okay, so that we can do. But you can say, okay, but you are declaring the function, you are calling the function here, but function is not even written. So that's why there is the initial global function declaration part. Okay, so while we declare the function that okay, the function is there, so the program goes to the top, से भैया ये तो यहाँ पर ये फंक्शन है, तो ये बोलेगा कि हाँ ये पर है, तो फंक्शन तो है इधर, अच्छा फिर ठीक है, फिर मैं नीचे जाके देख लूंगा कि है कि नहीं. ओके, so this is the system, how the function declaration, global function declaration works. Okay, so now to simply add the data. See, everything is done by intelligence. I'm doing nothing. I'm just writing the first few letters and after that break. Okay, that's why you always should use VS Code. Okay, so now a bit tricky part. I'm now going to case 2 is edit the student. So now one thing you understand that we can, if there is nothing, we can add there, right? But if there is nothing within a database or if there's nothing within a table, how we can edit that? So if that is the case, we need to check that case first. Okay, we have to check that, right? How can it be possible? For that, what we can do, that we can check if, so what is the structure called? The structure we used, the structure is called REC. Okay, so REC is the structure name. So what we will do, we will check if the first member of REC is empty. If the first member is empty, then the list is, the total table is empty, the total structure is empty. So REC 0, so this is the index. Okay, this is the keyword. So there are different part of the statements that we're writing. This is the keyword. This REC, this is basically the structure, and this is the index. So REC dot. Now how to call a attribute within a structure? We just write dot and then the attribute. So roll number. So if, so what I'm writing, if I'm telling in sentence, if the first records roll number, if record 0 dot roll number means if the first records roll number equal to 0. Okay, so then cout, please add something, blah blah blah, please add something. Okay, so we'll do that. So if record 0 dot roll number equal to 0, so then I'm seeing out, hey, nothing's there. Okay, so now so I've written nothing is there. Okay, then I can call the main function. Why I'm calling the main function? Because now we need to do the same thing again. We need to show the user, okay, so these are the options, so you need to add the students, right? So we are calling the main function. So this is the if, but else, if everything is all right, then what we can do, else we can show the data, right? So you can see out the data. So I have a structure written within me. Okay, so like so the things I'm importing now, copy and pasting. So basically if I write just cout, so it will basically name, father's name. So if I have some space or some dot 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 dot, so let's say if it's something looking like this, so let's say table and then name, then a space, then a father's name, then roll number. So this is basically the thing I'm importing now. Okay, okay, so now let's because as I'm copying from there, so then I need to change all the structure. So just add whatever is there. So father's name. Okay, so father's name I added, and after that I added the address. Okay, so everything is all right as of now. Okay, so I imported this. So this is nothing but the decoration. Okay, so this is not any functional part. This is the decoration I'm doing so that the output of the program look okay. So now what I need to do, the user wants to see the data. So I will call a loop. I will add a loop that will loop through all the data and will show them. So for int I equal to 0 and I less than equal to total students. Okay, and then I plus plus, and I can show the data. Okay. Show the data for what? I have the roll number, I have the index, I have the 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 index, and here is also I following 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can simply call the iterator here as a parameter. Yes. So my showing the data part is done. And now what I can do is I can show that I am editing, right? So for edit, I first have to show him what is there. So then I'm asking which ID number do you want to edit? I'm asking the user. ENDL. ENDL means end line. Okay. So I'm asking the ID number. So the user will input the ID number. I will take the ID number as an input. So C in ID number. See, everything is within the logic that we built, the structure that we built in the first part of the program. Okay, C in ID number. So now some so I'm adding a part. Okay, so this is basically a cross check. So let's say we have 10 students. Okay, so the 10 students, their ID number is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So the ID number will be between 0 to 10. Okay, so if the user inputs a greater than 10, so the greater than total student ID number or a negative ID number, then that will be invalid, right? So I am writing the same thing. If ID number is greater than total students, and I'm writing a OR operator. OR operator means if this happens or this happens, if A or B means, so let's say I'm having if A or B, please understand this part. If A or B, C out, C. Oh, sorry. Printf %d C. Okay. This means if A happens, print C. If B happens, print C. And there is another similar type operator. If A and ampersand B, so let's say print C. Okay, ignore the syntax, just understand the concept. So A and B matlab A and B means if only A happens, we can't print it. If only B happens, we can print it. If nothing of them happens, we can print it. We can only print when both A happens and B happens. So let's say there are three conditions: I greater than 3, I less than 5. So if there is an OR, so then whether it is 4 or 6, it doesn't matter. It will print because it is following one of the condition at least. But if I greater than 3 and I less than 5, then only 4 will be printed because only 4 accepts both the conditions. Okay, so this is basically the logical operators. So if ID number is greater than total students or ID number is basically negative, okay, so less than 0, so then it is invalid. So what we will do, we will simply see out it is, hey, it is invalid. Okay. Whenever you are coding in VS Code, so this is 0, 0. Okay, so the cross is basically the error. There are two types of error, right? Sorry, there are two types of error. There are two types of problem. So one shows as an error and one shows as a warning. Your program will run whatever warning will you have, but if you have an error, your program will not run. Okay, so please check there. So this is the problem. So if you click here, you can see if there is any problem or not. Okay, so if I am writing, so let's say if I'm writing int a and then I'm writing something here, so then if I save it, then after some time it will show me an error. Okay, so just follow this, it will load the whole program and it will show me an error. So okay, so now we are outputting, hey, it is invalid. But if it is not invalid, so else what will you do? We can call the function, we can edit data function, just simple structure of the program. Okay, nothing too much out of the world or nothing overwhelming in this. So okay, so we have done until this, so we will break it. So why I'm breaking it here? See, there are lines. You can see the lines here. So these lines tell you what indentation you follow. Okay. So my case 2 is here. So I have to write the break statement in this line only, following this indentation. So follow your cursor, go to down and write break. Okay. So these are some beautiful features VS Code has. I'm telling it more and more time. Please start using VS Code. Okay. So what we are doing in case 3? We are searching. So the same thing. If there is no students, we will write please add student first. Okay. So if record 0 dot roll number equal to 0, then what we'll have to do? We will see out that hey, there is nothing here. Please add. Okay. And we can end the line. Sorry, typo. End the line. Okay. And then okay. And then if the case is not that, okay, there are data. So then we can simply search the data. So for search the data, so what we can ask, who you want to search. Okay. So see out. Want to search, please enter his role, his or her role. Okay. So now see in, so I have already a variable called search by role. Okay, I don't need to remember what that name of the variable is. In VS Code, I just search SE. Okay, search by role is there. Okay, so this is called IntelliSense. And now I have searched the role, so I will call the function. So I don't remember the function name. Search, so I will SEA, and if I write SEA search, then I will go the search data. Okay. Yes. So why it is showing me the error? Because I didn't add the search data function. Okay. So I have to add the search data. So I'm adding the search data. So in search by role. Okay. So once your VS Code is not showing, that function is not showing, so that means we have not declared the function. Okay. So this was a demonstration for that. Okay. So now we are done with the if else both the cases. So we will break it. And we have a last case, case 4, when we want to quit. So for that, what? Just simply return 0 and quit and break. Okay. And the default case is when the user inputs other than 1 2 3 4, then we can write hey is invalid. Okay. Okay, so we're done with this. Then we can also call the main function. So why we're calling the main function? Whenever user does something wrong, we can tell him. Whenever the user does that, okay, he calls the system but there is nothing, so I forgot where, so please add. I also have to add the main function here because the user did something wrong, so I have to fix him. I have to tell him, okay, I am calling the function again, please do whatever you want to do now. Okay, so I'm done with this part. So I'll be simply returning the 0. So my main program is done. Okay. So my main program is done. Now I simply need to write the program that is there. So get data. So okay. So get data is function. So these are all the functions. So I'm copying them. I will be writing all of them. So I'm copying them first. Okay. So keep them as comment because you don't need to write this. So I'm doing this just for my comfort. So void get data. So in get data, I'm not lengthening the program 2-bit. So for get data, I need to ask the user, okay, what is your roll number? He will enter the roll number. Where I will store the roll number? Int I means I parameter. Okay. So I am calling the get number for the ith roll. So for the ith roll, I will have the ith index of the record. For ith roll, I have the record I dot roll number, record I dot name, record I dot f name. Okay, so I've already written them. Okay, so record I dot address, record I dot everything. Okay, so I've written them. I am simply copy and pasting it already. So where is the program? Sorry, I have to find the program. 1 second. Yes. Okay. So this is the get data. Now void show data. So show data. So see what parameter I did. Okay, int search by role. So I will not do anything. I will see what I wrote and I will write that. I don't need to think anything now. Okay. So now int I equal to search by role. Now what Kajal told is now working for me. Okay. So I have the search by role. I have the search by role variable, but the search by role variable, it will be easier for me if I add that search by role variable to some another variable. Okay. So then I can use that. Okay. So if I don't do it, I have to write everything. For everything I have to write record search by role dot roll number, record search by role dot name. So for that I am simplifying it and I am writing okay, record I dot roll number. Okay, so instead of writing search by role, I want to write I. So I am storing the search by role variable in I. Okay, so see out. So for which search by which role I'm seeing the user for that, and then I'm outputting everything, outputting all the details I have. Okay. Okay, so now I have to search the student. Okay, this program is done. So see, if you do the main function, if you are done with the main function, the other part is so easy, right? Then I have the search data. Okay, see if the data name is search data, not yes, search data, and what parameter I have? Int search by role. Okay, so now what I need to do, I have to search. So for that, for I equal to 0, I have to loop through all the program. I have to loop through the whole student database. So the student database is how many students? Total number, total students. That is the variable that is storing that if there are 10, then 10, 15, then 15, 20, then 20, and so on. Okay. So now int I. So what you are saying this int I. So this is the scope declaration. Okay. Scope declaration means I need I variable here. So I'm declaring I here. Okay, in this scope it will work, but outside this scope the value of I here will not work. Okay, I and I less than equal to total students, and then simply I plus plus. Now what I need to do, I need to search. Okay, so if record I, so what I need to do, that if record I, the record I have, if the record, any of the records roll number is matching with the search with the user entered roll number, the search by role is what user entered. So what user entered is matching with any of the left is any of the. So let's explain it in one note. So the user explained one. Okay, and I have different data. Okay, so this one, this one, this one, this one, and let's say now I have the user's data. So now what we will do, it will search from top. It is matching, no, it is matching, no, it's matching, no, it's matching, no, and now if it will match, then it will show the details. Simple. The program seems big, but it is not. So if the roll number equals to search by role, then what I will do, I will simply show all the details. Okay, so for that I need to call the show data function. So I'm simply calling the show data function. Okay, so this is the general structure, the cout structure, just for decoration. So these I'm copy and pasting. Okay, so no need to worry, I will share all this. And now one final part is add data. Okay, now I need to add. So for add data, what I need to do, So for adding data, I am seeing if anything is there. Okay. So for add data, int search by role. Okay. So I'm writing the int search by role. But now I think that, okay, I don't need the int search by role variable. Okay. So I can delete it from here. If I want that for adding the data, I don't need the search by role variable. We first thought that we will search then add, but we can add directly, right? So for that, I don't think we will need some variables. Okay, so we are done with that. So now same thing, will be running a loop I equal to 0, I less than equal to total students, I plus plus. So now first of all, get data. We have to get data from the user. Okay. Now we'll be showing all the records. Okay, so for that, first the decoration, the Durga Puja decoration I already did. So I'm copy pasting that decoration. Okay, now we will run a loop for showing the data. Okay, so what I will do, so these are all Durga Puja decorations, right? One second, let me write. These are all Diwali decorations for the program. Okay, so now for again I'm calling the loop for I equal to int I equal to 0, I less than, now this is like a rhyme for us, total students, I plus plus. So now we need to show the data. Okay, we need to show the data. Show the data for which variable? I. For which index? Ith index. Okay, so now it is done for us. And after adding the data, we again call the main function if the user wants to add another data. Okay, so returns to the main function. So now, so we are done with all this. Okay, so now what thing we are left? We need to edit data. One last function we have is edit student or edit data. Okay, so now void edit data. I guess the name is edit data. Yes. And for edit data, I have the variable as ID number. Okay. Now the same loop for int I equal to 0, I less than equal to total students, I plus plus. If need to check if ID number equal to I. Okay. What user entered, if it is matching with something, then first I need to show what data exists there. Okay, so first I need to add the Durga Puja decoration here. So just let me add the Durga Puja decorations here. Okay, so this is the Durga Puja decoration. So now what I need to add? The show data. So show data for what? Show data for the ith index. Okay, now I need to see out. Okay, I have to enter the new data. Okay, I have to enter the new data. So I am asking the user to enter the new data. So the user will enter the new data for what? So I have to call the get data function. So the get data function will work for which index? For ith index. So get data I. Okay. Now I will print. Okay, and I will return to the main function. So let us check if the program is running or not. Okay, I will run the code. If any issues are there, I can see through the terminal. Okay, so let it run. So okay, so these are all the errors I have. So let me check one by one. So arguments, so there are argument problems in here. Okay, so what I need to do, so I can search the data. For search the data, I have int search by role, and in this search by data, okay, so in this search by data, I pass the argument, so no issues in here. So okay, So now we'll run the program again. Okay, 1 second. So see this. Okay, you need to understand this. So are you Devakripa, can you see the OneNote screen I just shared?
Yes, yes, yes,
Yes. Okay,
absolutely.
okay. So you need to understand this, right? You need to understand that if this record is calling what, if this record is checking with what it is checking, right? So if that check is doing well, then what you can do, then you can simply compare them, right? You can simply compare them and you are okay to go. Okay, so let's run the code. So let's bring the window here. Yes, so let's run the code. Okay, so I fixed the errors and now let's run the code. So enter total number of students, max 50. So please tell me a number in the chat, any number in the chat, please. Any number. Please keep it 3 to 6. And then it will take a whole lot of time. ट्रेंड हाँ बोल दो ना, एकदम 120 बोल दो, सारा रात बैठ के मैं डेटा एंटर करूँ. थोड़ा छोटा भाई, हाँ एक ठीक है 5. तो एंटर योर चॉइस. हम क्या करेंगे, हम ऐड स्टूडेंट करेंगे. तो रोल नंबर, एसएनयू का रोल नंबर हमारा 4 डिजिट का तो है ही. मेरा सुनहरा नाम लिख देता हूँ मैं, ठीक है. पापा का नाम, सेल फोन नंबर, ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला, डेट ऑफ बर्थ, student address. So let's say Vardhaman. So let's add another roll number. So let's say 2015, student name something, father's name something, cell phone number something, date of birth. So I'm just doing this if the program is working currently or not. So let's say Kolkata, and another is 2065, student name something, father's name something, cell phone number is something, date of birth is, so let's say something, and address is something. Another students, sorry, yes, 1 second. Yeah, so let's say I'm adding 3 data. Okay, it will take lot of time. Add student. So let's say Sagnik. Sorry, first I need to add the roll number. Yes, 3. So enter your choice. So let's say I want to add student. So 2027. So let's say Sagnik. So father's name, let's say this, date of birth, let's say hey this, enter address is this, enter roll number 2027 2028, student name this, father's name this, cell phone number is this, date of birth is let's say this, address is let's say this, and another roll number, let's say this, student name is this, father's name is this, cell phone number is this, but this, and student address is let's say this. So now you see the table is created, the student record table. IDs are there, roll numbers are there, name are there, father are there, cell number, date of birth, and address. So if I need to edit something, so let's say press any key to continue. Okay, so I'm pressing. So enter the total number of students. I have to first tell them na ki I know how much students are there. So there are 3. Okay, so what I need to do, I need to search a student. So I need to search. Enter the roll number you want to search. So let's say I'm searching 2028. Okay, so it is showing me that okay, his ID is 1, his roll is 2028, his name is this, his father's name is this. So if I want to edit some data, so let's say I want to edit. Okay, so which ID number you want to edit? So let's say I want to edit 0. So first it is showing existing information about this record. ID is this. So all the lines that are appearing, that is the Diwali decoration. Okay. So enter the new data. So so let's say I need to change it to 2014. Student name 2, it is Sagnik. I need to change it to Mitra. For father's name Asfas, I need to change to ASDFG. Date of birth I change it to 19th July 1632. Okay, sorry, cell phone number, same I'm writing here. Student address, so I'm changing to this. Okay, so record updated successfully. So now what I need to do, I need to search the student. Okay, so enter the roll number I want to search. So let's say I want to search with my new roll number. Okay, so 2014. Okay, so now you can see my roll number is updated 0214 Mitru ASDFG, enter your choice. Okay, so this was the program. I will share all the code in GitHub. So now over to Devakripa. Okay, thank you guys. So now over to Devakripa. Yes, please go on. Hello.
Hi everyone. Can you
Yes.
hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Um, I'm putting the link to access Kahoot in the chat. Guys, did you all get it? Please Google, please copy paste it in your web browser.
Okay, I'm adding the hyperlink once again.
Oh,
HTTP.
okay. Thanks, Shagni.
Yes. See, I send the link for Kahoot.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm sharing my screen. Please take the pin from there, game pin.
Yes. Please share the game pin.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. 4976452. Right. Enter. Everyone go to Kahoot and just enter 4976452. So I am in. Ovi is in. Kajal is in.
other 4 guys, please join. There'll be swags for the top 3 rankers.
Yes, there are people are having some issues joining.
Oh, okay, okay. No issues. I'm
Okay,
waiting.
okay.
Everyone here is familiar with playing games on Kahoot, right?
Yes, I
Could
guess
you please tell
everyone
in
will
the
be
chat?
not. Everyone will be not. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so what will happen is I am sharing my screen. On my screen, there'll be total 5 questions, and on my screen, you'll see each question. And for each question, there'll be a time of 20 seconds on which you have to answer the correct option. 4 of the questions are single option correct type, and the remaining one question is multiple option correct type. On your screen, you will just get the colored options to choose, which correspond to the options on my screen. The icons on my screen will correspond to the icons on your screen. You have to select the correct option on your screen. Uh, could I make myself clear? Is everyone getting it? Please tell me. Please respond in the chat. Is it okay?
Yes, I guess we can start. Among 16, 13 are there. I guess we can start.
Okay. Sure.
Okay.
Guys, all the best. First question is the extension of C++. Okay, so the correct option was .cpp here. Is everyone getting it? How to play? Is everyone being able to play?
Yes, we are getting yes.
Okay. You, anyone has any issue playing? Do tell me.
कैसे खेल रही हो?
One second, there is echo. Shiksha Kumar, if you please mute. Yes. Devakripa, you can unmute.
Yes, was there an echo from my side?
No. You continue, please. Please continue with the next question.
Sure. Okay.
Yes. So, guys, this is also fastest fingers first, right? So the questions will be easy, but how much fast you can answer the questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So see here is your scoreboard. We are going to the next question. This is a multiple option correct type.
So this was also mentioned in the event. Everything is from the mentioned in the event.
Yeah. So these were the 2 correct options, C or C++ IntelliSense and compile run. Let's see. So here's the scoreboard. We are now going to the next question. The third question. The single option correct type. So it can be accessed because there's a link to GitHub right in the home page of Visual Studio Code. So here's the scoreboard. My next question now. True or false? Yes, Visual Studio has a GitHub repository since it's an open source software by Microsoft. We're going to the scoreboard now. Okay. And the next question. VSC means Visual Studio Code. Okay. I mentioned this in my conversation. Over to the scoreboard.
Devakripa, can you please share your screen? Because
My screen is not visible.
no, but one of my junior screen was visible, so he just stopped the screen sharing. So can you please share the screen?
Okay.
Okay.
Is my screen visible now?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the podium, the top 3 rankers.
Congratulations, Shubham, Ovi, and Anjan. You will be getting the swags and exclusive certificate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys, hope you all enjoyed the game. Stay tuned for more games.
So if you guys had fun doing this, can we can have another quiz. Setting up a quiz in Kahoot is no big issue. If you are all okay with it, we can have another fun Kahoot quiz right now. Just what you learnt in the student management systems, the functional concept. If you got fun, we can arrange another session or later, no issues. So Devaki, if you have something, if you have something left to tell about your part on C++, you can tell.
Nothing as such. It was
Okay.
great having you all in the session. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for attending.
Yeah. Thank you, Devakriva, so much for this
Thank
Coca-Cola.
you to you too, sir.
And yes, and also, guys, I will share all the source code, all the codes that I have done, all the links that are mentioned in the chat, and all the tutorials for VS Code and all the tutorials. I will be mentioning everything there. Everything will be mentioned in the GitHub repository. So I am linking the GitHub repo here, and also will be it will be sent to you via mail. So this is the GitHub repo. Okay, so this is empty now. So this will be updated by tonight. So please check tonight. All the source code and everything will be there. Okay. So thank you guys. So Deborah,
And
please
the
stop.
top,
Yes.
yeah, yes, go ahead, Sagnik.
Go ahead. No issue.
The top 3 rankers, could you please share your email addresses?
Yes. Top.
Avi, Anjan, and Shubham.
Shubham Sai have Anjan or Avi, if you can please
Avi
message
and
in
Anjan, yeah.
the yes, if you can share your email or you can message in the yes. Thank you.
Yeah, either will work fine.
Yes. So you have the podium, right? So Shubham got first and Anjan got second or third.
Just a minute, I'll check again.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay. Anjan got third.
Anjan came
Thank you.
third and Avi
Yes.
came second.
Okay, and Shubham
Shubham
got first.
first.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Nice name, CPP.
Yes, he comes up with all the creative names. Yes, so guys, that's all from the session. The presentation, we didn't need the presentation basically, but there is a presentation mentioned in C++, blah, 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 that will be shared also in the GitHub repo. Okay. So this is the GitHub repo link. Basically spamming the link here. So this is the link. Please go to the link, and you can see all the things that I used here are mentioned here. Okay. So thank you. So Devgan, I guess you can stop the recording.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, guys, you're okay to leave. Thank you. Thank you everyone for joining.